Am I live? Hi. How are you? So the platform that I'm using to live stream had problems last night up until like very early in the morning. Um, so I'm a night owl. I usually sleep just before the sunrise. And I was waiting for it to get fixed, and it was just taking so long. And so I actually had to do it via YouTube first. The disadvantage is that if I do it via YouTube, I won't be able to go live on other platforms like Twitch and X. And I know that some of you actually use those. And so I was hoping for it to get fixed before I go to bed, but it didn't. And so this morning I had like multiple links showing on my profile because then what is that? What was I doing? Okay, I was doing art this morning. So there you go. Hi. Okay, lots of good things come. There are a lot of good things coming up. Um okay, let me say hi to everybody. Oh, let me go live on Instagram first. Go live. Okay. And then let me close some windows. I was gonna share. Okay. All right. So, where is that? Okay. Let me say hi to everybody. Okay, I'm live on IG, and then I'll say hi to everybody. My dog is here, but he's not paying attention to me right now. Are we getting a full BTS performance during Jin's show? Okay, Lucy in the Sky, Leia, Fire Butterfly, Marie, Carol, Kathleen, Robin Carr, Darren, Christy, AGL, Leah Maritza, Carol, Leah is on Twitch. You see, if I didn't force to get a new link on this platform, then Twitch people won't be able to go join us. Patty, Arlene, Reg, Linax, Ras Bob, Angel Star, Robin, Fire Butterfly, Carla, A Brown, Mama Ja, Eleazar, OSP, Patty, Bang Luna, Aid, Nikon Lady, Patty, I am Claudia, BTS paved the way on X. Hi. See? Other people from other platforms are joining us. Fire Butterfly. I'm trying to get people over here. Alta, Halina, Darlene. My friends were actually I'll tell that story later. Terry, EG, Carmi, Letitia. Oh, Fire Butterfly is also on Twitch. And you're also on YouTube. Odd, Rachel, Nicolisha, Pia. Oh, we have two Pias. Anderson and Sambelben. Nicholas Cage. Bang Luna. Lucy, my dog is looking at me like, get me now. I'm ready for you. You want us to join me, baby? Your pillow, I mean. Okay. Hello. I say hi, baby. Say hi. Show them your cuteness first. He's so spoiled. So the last couple of days, wait, I'm gonna say hi to everybody. I keep on getting distracted. Mima, Cindy, Michelle, Kitty, Norma, Carla Girl, MLB. No, MLB. um, They're on MLB because of the baseball thingy. So, Shelling, Lucy, Firebutter. That's why I reacted that way to your name. Roxanne, Carla Girl, Wonder Human, Bang Luna, BTS Paved the Way, Cindy, Roxanne, okay, Dodger Girl, Soft Soap, Purple Haze. Okay. Oh, we have a lot of people on Twitch now. Chansey, Phaedra. Oh, nice for you to join us. Dodger Girl, A Brown, Linax. Robin Carr, Angel Star. Hey, they're saying hi to you. So many highs for you. Christy. Um, I'm so into it because Annie's that saying that Annie moves some strings. Okay. April, Kitty, Maritza, Chansey, A Brown, Raquel. Okay. Lucy, say hi, baby. Hi to everybody. He's so picky. So he we bought him rotisserie chicken. Well, it was supposed to be for us and it ended up being for him. So he that was what he was having for lunch for the last 2 days. But he really doesn't like repeating what he eats. It has to be whatever he eats now, he cannot eat for the rest of the week. It has to be different. So, but this one, I guess he was either, I don't know. So he ate it for 2 consecutive days. And on the third day, I was getting kind of worried, like, oh, he's not going to like it anymore. But he still ate them. So we had lunch earlier and I fed him some more and he just didn't like it. so, so there you go. Okay. And then what was my other story? Oh, the other story is that LA Dodgers made it to the World Series for the second consecutive year. And of course, I'm very happy, especially because my favorite baseball player, Otani, played an instrumental role in the last game. Although he has been sucking for the last in the last the 3 games prior to this one. He was like he sucked, and then he contributed in other ways, but like he didn't do his usual home runs or he didn't steal bases or whatever. Anyway, but this game, other players could have could not have been there and he still would have won the game all by himself. That's how good his performance was. And so I was hoping we could watch. So right after the game, I went to StubHub and I went to the official website of LA Dodgers to buy tickets. And the tickets were like the cheapest was like 1,200, and that was the bleachers, like nosebleed, which I don't mind. I still just, just to be in the same, I guess, vicinity as the greatest of all time, I wouldn't mind. But like 1,200 for that for one ticket, and so it's like, oh my gosh. So that's why I was sad. But nonetheless, I'm happy that the Dodgers are actually in the World Series. So I'm still gonna watch, and I'll continue to check maybe last minute. I'll have a Phaedra member for 3 months level Emperor of Extra. Huh? Cool. I'm the Emperor of Extra. Probably true. Yeah, 1,200 is the ticket for nosebleed tickets. But it's fine. I mean, I still would like to watch him. I don't mind. I just want to, as I've said, just any chance I could get to watch the greatest of all time. It doesn't matter if I'm like rooting for that person, for as long as I just want to be able to experience like all the goats that I could experience in my lifetime. I'd like to do that. But anyway, so I don't know. I'll continue checking the tickets. Who knows? Maybe last minute someone's going to try and let go of their tickets and I'll buy them. But I hope I could watch. And then, but his performance was great. Like his second home run, the ball went out of the stadium. I was like, where is it headed? Is it in France? Where is it? He was good. Okay. So I actually like watching sports because for me, there's something about, like, I find it so awesome. I don't know what's the word, but there's something about humans dedicating their entire life to a single goal, and putting everything that they could in that moment just so their team could win. I remember watching the Olympics when I was younger, and it was actually a South Korean taekwondo player, and he was in the championship, and the opponent was winning and the score was 3-0. You couldn't score. And that was like a big humiliation for South Koreans because taekwondo is their national. That's something that came from them. So like they should always win the championship on that one. So I knew what he was gonna face if he doesn't score, but he was injured. He his left leg wasn't working and stuff. So I was watching and I was like, oh my God. But I was really still young at this time. So it's like, oh my God, I feel so bad for this guy. And then the only chance he could win the game is if he knocks out the opponent. That's the only way he could win the game. And I was thinking, like, is he gonna try to win the game or just try to score? And just so he doesn't go home scoreless, right? Because that's, I guess that would be worse than losing. So he had 45 seconds. It was less than a minute. He had less than a minute left, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna lose," and whatever. And he just went batshit crazy, like kicking and but like just he was all, you can see that he was already being, he was not like caring about the defense. He just wanted to score, and he ended up knocking down the opponent. And he won the gold. So it was the happiness and the elation that I felt for this guy whom I have never met in my entire life. So I like watching sports. Even if I'm not an avid like viewer of that sport, in moments like that I tend to appreciate. um but Otani, it's just if you ever have a chance to watch him again, please do, because he or watch him once, please do. Okay. Um people hit like. Yes, please like the video. Okay. My plane ticket to Bangkok early next year costs less than that. I know, right? Okay, so we have several things to discuss. We're going to talk about RM's investment in an AI platform. And then we're going to talk about, I hope this is the last time I'm going to be talking about the fashion week. Well, not really the fashion week itself, but just like the earned media value, the difference between Lefty, Inclusive, and LaunchMetrics. Because last week, LaunchMetrics released their own study. And so that created another set of buzz and another set of wars. And then we're going to go through some news and updates and also Bang Shiyuk's case. I've seen Otani multiple times over the past couple of years, and also when he plays okay. Yeah, I haven't. Live Nation League. So yeah, I haven't watched him yet live, and that's why you're so lucky. I really want to watch him. So let's see. Okay, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with RM? I like ending it in or with our positive news so that you walk away from this live stream happy instead of irritated. So I've learned that lesson. So do you want to go, although the RM news is not really gonna irritate you, but J-Hope collab. Let's put that last because that's positive. Please tell me RM didn't invest in AI. He did. Bang Shiyuk plea. Okay, so let's do negative first and then let's end on a positive note. Okay, I can do that. Bang Shiyuk first. Okay, let's do Bang Shiyuk. So this is actually not going to be very, very long. So just the latest update is that the police, I guess, released a statement. Either they were asked in, they do a regular, like weekly briefing with the press where they answer several questions from the press. And one of the things that were asked, most likely, either that or they volunteer the information, is an update on the case of Bang Shiyuk. So, so this is in relation to the stock manipulation. This is the same case that they have been trying to investigate him for and convict him for in the last several years. And so the last thing that happened was the two sets of investigations where they questioned Bang Shiyuk for like 12, 14 hours. I think the first one was 14 hours and then the second one was 12 hours. Okay. So he so the what the police actually said is that there really is no progress report. They're still investigating. And so a lot of people are wondering, like, after two questioning, which and both are like more than 12 hours and more than 2 weeks, you're still not like, what's happening? Do you not have enough? What is it? Like, can't you decide whether you're going to convict him, set him free? But what is it that you're trying to do? And so he said that there has been no particular progress. And as reported, there has been additional investigation, and we are conducting an in depth analysis of the secured materials and statements. And he added, we're also conducting a legal review. Okay. So no progress. They're still trying to work it out, I guess, is the summary of what he's saying. So usually when there is an investigation like this and it's taking the investigators this long, one is that they want to build a an airtight case. So that's one possible reason that's taking them this long. They have something, they just want it airtight. Otherwise, if it is not airtight, the Murphy's law. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong, and that's what they're trying to avoid. They don't want the weak points of the case to destroy the entire case, because in a legal proceeding, all you need is one fault, one mistake, and everything falls apart. Uh, so that could be that they're building an airtight case. Do remember that intent is always the hardest to prove in a crime. And as you know, a lot of people have been saved because of the failure of the police to prove intent. Because intent is not tangible usually. Like, how do you prove that you intended to do that instead of you accidentally prove it, right? Okay, so if they are to convict him, because remember, when they bring the case to a court, the court cannot convict somebody of something that he's not being accused for or accused of. So if they want to prove that he intentionally kept the information from the investors, and that he intentionally caused them harm, that is the case, the judge or the court can only say yes or no. The court cannot say, he caused them harm, but he did not intend to do that. So they most likely want to convict him for a higher case, for a graver case, for a worse case, but they don't have enough for that case. They could have enough for a lower case, but they don't want that. So they want to build a case that would convict him of that worst case. Okay. Hope that is clear. And they are negotiate the other thing is that they probably are negotiating behind the scenes. For example, is if they are checking if other HIBE officials or fund representatives will actually testify. So they're getting more witnesses on their side, because if nobody can prove or is willing or is even interested in being a witness against HIBE, then that is going to make their case weaker. You do need someone on the other side accusing him or saying that, yep, he fooled me, or he lied to me, or he kept those information from me. If you don't have anybody saying that that Bankshi caused them damage, then is there really damage? Right? If I'm not like it caused me no harm. So what's the case then? So that's one thing. They are most likely or probably trying to get witnesses against him, and they couldn't find those at this moment. And that's why they're trying to delay things until they find those witnesses. And then the other thing is that they probably don't have enough to indict him. So they're buying time through analysis to see if evidence aligns. So just continue looking for the evidence until you find it. People usually find what they're looking for. So only Mama Roach is a witness. She's trying probably to be a witness. She's not going to be a very good witness for the prosecutor because she has something on the line, right? So that could be a hole in their case. Like, well, you have something against him right now. That's why you're saying it. So as opposed to just somebody who says, I have no case against him right now. It's just that he caused me some losses before. So, but yes, she's trying to insert herself in the investigation. So yeah, most likely that's also another, not most likely, but that's another option, that they simply don't have anything to indict him and they're just waiting for things to fall into place. But the mere fact that they actually issued a travel ban on him, which they issued a long time ago, way before it was publicized, and the lawyers of Bang Shiyuk even talked about it. They said that he can't leave the country and he has no intention of leaving the country. He's going to finish this investigation until everything is settled. So, but this is a strong signal because that means that you are being treated as a suspect. So, and that they're saying that your flight could mean risks, which to me is really, anyway. So that's a strong signal that they think they have enough to hold him and that he is a threat. That's why they cannot afford to have him leave the country. And also by repeatedly questioning him and keeping the investigation open, they ensure continued leverage and public accountability. So that is the most important thing because it's hanging above his head. So people will always, especially the haters, this is something they can always pull up. This is something that men can continuously talk about, like he has a case. Even if there is no progress, for as long as it is open, it will always be referred to. So it's a propaganda against Bang Shiyok. They're trying to bully him, in your opinion. Yeah, I mean, they have him right where they want him. As you can see, he is getting invited to this and that. Um, I'm actually going to get there in a bit, so I don't want to preempt it. Okay, so don't worry though, even though he is not allowed to leave the country, the internet exists. So he can still conduct business. And lucky for South Korea, they have the fastest internet in the world. So it's very easy to conduct business. Our internet actually sucks compared to South Korea. So that's not a problem. If he wants to do a board meeting, he can always do it from South Korea. And we know that Americans actually love going to Seoul. So if they want to see him, they can just fly to Seoul. And also, luckily for the US, American citizens actually don't need a visa going to South Korea. So pretty easy. Also, the one thing that he made sure, that Bang Shiyuk made sure before he returned to South Korea, is that Hybe America and all its satellite offices are actually set up the way Hybe is set up in Korea. And that means every label is independent and they can operate independently. As you know, Bang Shiyuk is not the CEO of any of the satellite offices or any of the branches of South of Hybe. Hybe America, Hybe Latin America, Japan, and now India. He's not the CEO. He is the chairman of Hybe, the overall company, the umbrella, the holding company that owns all of this. He's the chairman. So the day-to-day operations, he doesn't really concern himself with it. In other words, those businesses are going to continue. There are board of directors, which there is a board of directors, so they can conduct their business. If there is anything that needs to be approved, the board is there, and again, there is internet connection. Okay. So the other thing is, um, since he is the CEO, usually what he does, and this is instrumental, and this is very important actually. You can take a lesson, people can take a lesson from how he actually conducts his business. He is an idea person, and then he gets people that can execute his ideas that will make it come true. So one thing that worked with Scooter Braun very well is that Scooter Braun is actually an executor. So he executes big ideas. So the partnership was actually perfect for what it was intended to be. Because in the beginning, when he was setting up Hybe America, he had all of these ideas. Number one of the things that he instituted is they needed a constant source of income, right? Because you need the cash flow in business. So he set that up. He bought different companies that already had a roster, like quality control. And so that will give them money constantly so that they can continue to operate. So, and then he wanted this partnership with Geffen because he needed a success story in the US so that he can use that as a leverage for loans. That's why Scooter Braun forged a partnership with Geffen. And so now Cat's Eye is proving to be a really successful girl group. 16 months and they already sold out their first tour. They already have 11 weeks on Billboard for one song. So all of those set up, those foundation, he was able to execute because he found the right partners for him. And that is not no different from what he's doing right now. Okay, next. For us, for fans, there's absolutely nothing to worry about because BTS does not rely on Bang Shi-hyuk. We all know that. They have full independence in what they are doing. And they are very creative people, very business savvy. And again, that is one thing that they hands on learned because of their involvement in the early growth phase of Big Hit. They were involved in everything. That's why they, if you would remember, when they got their stocks in the beginning, their voting rights were tied to the voting right of Bang Shiok. That is not because Bang Shiok wanted to um, control them. It is to protect whatever interest Big Hit has. Together, they are stronger, right? Because the voting pool is bigger. So Bang Shiuk tied their voting rights to him. In other words, whatever BTS wanted, if Bang Shiuk votes with them, then they will get it. Okay. So now those things that they experienced and then they went through creating merchandise together, they created IPs together, they negotiated the contracts together, and that gave BTS enough business know-how. So the things that they need to the things that they need to do now for their comeback, no need for Bang Shiok. So we don't have to worry about that. They are okay on their own. Then they will continue to be okay on their own. Next is the bigger question. Are they trying to delay it until the return of BTS because they want something? Do they want that controversy? Do they want that attention so that when BTS is getting all the attention globally, they're going to insert themselves and say, hey, we have something against your CEO or whatever? And to me, it feels like that is really the goal here. They are trying to delay everything until the return of BTS. I don't know what it is that they want because I think it's foolish. Um, when the media wrote about the restructuring of Hybamer, not complete restructuring, but when they hired new people in order to set up Hybe America into something in a three to become a 360 company, no one even mentioned Bang Shiok. It's just that the West does not care about issues like this. And I think South Korea isn't getting it, that we simply don't care. A lot of the executives, owners, CEOs of many companies in the US get into trouble. It does not affect the business. And some are really like some of the executives of this music labels, movie companies, big corporations are just like downright disgusting and we still don't care. Like whatever the CEOs are going through, we don't necessarily put that against the artist. So all these things about, so if that is their goal to pull BTS down during their comeback and say, hey, we finally have something against your CEO, it's not going to work because nobody's going to care. So the idiots are cutting their own throat. BTS is a gold mine to the Korean economy. They are. My video this morning was about that. So they I think it's just that either they, I don't know exactly what it is that they want. It just feels like that they are delaying it because they want to time it to when BTS is actually making a comeback. Maybe because they want, I don't know. They probably think that people are gonna care. and they just we won't. I mean, how many legal cases all these executives in the US have been through and we still don't care, right? I mean, even the executive of Universal, Geffen, Sony, many of them have gotten into legal troubles, and we still don't care. So, um, okay, let's go through some of the comments before I go through the next topic. Um, Personalities among music executives are rarely talked about in the West, whereas it's a total obsession in Korea. I think any dirt, right, on anybody, it's like, oh, here's something that we can talk about. And they especially like it though when it is high profile because they feel that's like moral superiority for them. And it has something to do with their post Confucian belief. So, because in their in post Confucius beliefs, do you want to get down? Okay. Okay. Say bye to everybody first. You say bye. You tell them I'm not comfortable here. Say hi. Say bye bye. Say bye bye. Bye bye. He's trying to get down. I want to hug you. Okay. 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 He went to his favorite place. Okay, um according to their post Confucian beliefs, it is not just enough that you do well, it's also your obligation to make sure that everybody else is also doing well. So it's your responsibility to check your neighbor, um, which they have sort of misinterpreted to mean that they are there to criticize other people, I guess. But that is rooted in their post Confucian belief. That's the explanation to why they're so critical of other people. But yeah, I do agree that they seem to be so obsessed with every wrongdoing. Um, but but also let's remember, like for example, Tail has not been, as you know, that Tail is the former member of NCT who was convicted of rape. It was gang rape actually, and he was I was actually thinking of not mentioning the word before I went online, but I feel like if it is something like that, I think it's important for us to use those words instead of softening them, because that's what he did. He didn't abuse the girl, not just abuse the girl. He did that. But that's really what he did, right? So I think it's important for people to hear it and to know that that's what he did. And it is a disgusting thing to do. So I don't want to soften the word when when I'm talking about things like that. Okay, so just so you know. All right. So like he has been convicted. So he appealed the conviction, and he was denied by the court. So he is going to be sentenced, I think, sometime in November, and that has not led to the headlines. People are not criticizing him. So to me, yeah, people are critical, but they can also get paid because obviously they're not talking about him, right? If they are truly critical, objectively critical, they're going to be critical of everybody else, but that's not happening. They're just critical of people that are popular. Okay. The president want to build up K-pop, and this mess is going against what he claims he wants. Other companies have to be looking at this and know this is not good. Yeah, I think the president, I have a natural distrust towards politicians, or not really natural distrust, but I'm more critical of people that are serving the country, as and I think that should be the case, right? Always when you're serving the country, of course people have to be more critical of you. So I don't take his word for what he says. I think uh, it's just his track record is not good. The way he has used the entertainment industry has not been good for the entertainment industry. It has been good for him, but not for the entertainment industry. So yeah, I don't. Okay, all right. We need more votes for Mama. We are third and fourth. Hypocritically selective outrage seems to be the norm anymore. It's really sad. The dude needs to go away for a damn long time. He does need to go away for a long time. And as I've said, I think in cases like this, I'm not going to censor my word. I know people are like, oh, um, like this is abuse, or this is like, no, that's not what he did. You raped the girl. And people should hear that. Uh, a no is a no. When a person cannot consent, you shouldn't do that. And it's not just one person. They actually manipulated things and falsified documents and all of those things to get away from it. So he knew what he was doing. Um, so yeah, it's not because it was a lapse in judgment. No. Eating that extra cupcake is a lapse in judgment, sure. Or not getting up at 6 a.m. to do your regular run, that's a lapse in judgment. Or wearing that horrible pants, that's a lapse in judgment. But uh, or raping a woman is not a lapse in judgment. That's a very, very active judgment. So yeah. So just so you know, moving forward, if I'm talking about a crime, I'm just going to say the crime. I'm not gonna censor my word. I'm not gonna soften the offense because it shouldn't be, not in cases like this. Okay, so if it is murder, I'm just going to say murder. Okay, selfishly, I want Jin to win. Absolute. Okay. Um, BTS seems to be steering away from them. Who? I don't trust the president of SK. He's a rat. I also don't trust him. The president wants to control Bang Shiuk and BTS. That's just my speculation. I mean, I have no proof. That's just me. That seems to be where this is headed. Why delay this? Why hold him in in South Korea? It's not like he can get away. He's a very visible person. What do you think he's gonna do? Change his face? What you know? I so and the timing. Oh my gosh, the timing. Okay, so they probably think that they're gonna have something against BTS, but I mean, when those write-ups about Hybe America came out, no one even mentioned Bang Shio because we're not interested. Do you know who's the chairman of Universal, Universal or Sony for that matter? Nobody knows because we're not interested. In the US, we're not interested. No one knows him. They just know about Cat's Eye. They just know about, but the connection between him and that won't be made. Um, he has enough money to get away, but he's visible. So people can find him. They can't get anything. They can't get anything from a rapist, whereas they can get a lot from BTS and Hybe. The police almost seems to be colluding with MHJ, considering they stopped investigating her way back in September. Um, okay, good for you. Good for you. Taking the power out of words is very Orwellian. No, I sort of realized that, like, um when who was that, like, they were talking about a crime recently, and the reporter sort of used a certain word which made the crime softer, and I'm like, hey, and it was a abuse. It was a child, like, it was a child abuse, and it was like, why are you using that word? That's not what it is, that it's abuse. So it's sexual abuse, so you use sexual abuse. Like, why are you softening the crime? So I made it like, I said, no, if people don't like hearing those words, then I guess just stop watching my live stream, because I will say it. If that is what the crime is, I will say it. Okay. Okay, they just don't stop putting Big Hit and Hype down. Okay. Uh, okay, let's go to the next topic. Let's go. All right. Are you ready? This just makes me think about it's about to get a lot worse all around before BTS come back and after they come back. That's what I told you is going to happen. So it will happen. It will happen. The closer we are to the comeback, the worse it's going to get. And they are prepared for that. Okay, so hi just the tea please. All right. And so RM invested in an AI. He's an angel investor. So an angel investor is someone who puts his money into something, but they don't really get involved in the day to day. A venture capitalist do, um, like they are in fact involved in some way, maybe advising, but not necessarily day to day. So in this case, RM is actually an AI. He is an angel investor of an AI. Okay, so let's talk about the AI because I know there was this big news about RM walking into Hive making a PowerPoint presentation against AI. Okay. So the AI is called R2. So this is the article. Okay, I'm not going to read it word by word because it's a lot. So I'm just going to do the summary. Okay. Okay. So R2 aims to be a platform that connects artists and their artworks to a wider audience and collectors through digital twins, and AI-based curation. So think Spotify for art. That's what it is. So you know how if you use Spotify, the platform actually recommends um, songs to you based on your tastes. So it will study what you listen to and it's going to push other content to you based on your current taste, what you're listening to. So that's kind of the same principle for this. That's what the R2 platform is going to do. Based on your sentiments, based on other arts that you like, it's going to look for painters or paintings and it's going to recommend them to you. Okay. So no art AI, but just for algorithm. Okay. Wait. All right. So what is a digital twin? Angel Star, 5 for Debak Plain C. Thank you so much. He's under the bed. Thank you, Angel Star. I actually have news for you guys, but in a bit. Okay. About the travel thing. All right. So digital twin, it's a virtual replica of the physical objects, right? And this happens not just actually this is not an art thing. It's a technology thing. Almost everything that they create, cars, fridge, um, like a vacuum cleaner, anything that is mechanical, they usually have a digital replica of that. That's called a digital twin. So even your house, architects nowadays and engineers, they'll create a digital twin of your house, of your car, so that they can simulate, they can monitor and analyze physical counterparts, right? So if they have a digital replica of your house, they can stand like, oh, if you connect the wiring here and whatever, if the person is here, it's going to take blah, 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 stuff like that. So there's always a digital twin, and that's the same as the art pieces that they are going to create. So every art pieces that will enter R2 will have a digital twin, and that's going to be an exact replica of the actual thing. All right. Good night, Elizabeth. All right. So, in manufacturing, for example, GE, in real estate, architects use digital twins. In automotive, Tesla and other Toyota, they have digital twins. So it's a very very common concept. Now they're creating the same thing, and even songs have a digital twin, right? Because it has a digital version. Okay, so it creates a high fidelity, data enriched digital version of the artwork. Meaning, when you create a digital twin of an artwork, it does not simply copy. It creates a metadata to read the art. Okay? So for example, oh okay, this painting, it doesn't simply say this painting is from Picasso, for example. and uh, and it's called like it's a dominant green. That's not all its stores. It actually reads everything. Oh, the the color combination, the strokes, how it is interpreted, how the if there is a person in the painting, how it looks like, what it evokes, what is the intention, all of those things. It creates a digital version of it. So it's like so it's like a another world. You have a counterpart in another world. Okay. So authenticity, ownership, and then the other side is the legal stuff. Then when it has a digital twin, it kind of serves as the birth certificate of that artwork because it is non-fungible NFT. The digital twin is the NFT. So because it is non-fungible, meaning it is one, you cannot replicate it, right? So one is to one. So i- every artwork has it has a birth certificate that is the digital twin. And so that birth certificate is going to get passed around depending on who owns it. So if I own it for the first, I created that artwork, I'll create the birth certificate, put it in the blockchain. And then if I sell it, then that birth certificate gets owned by somebody else. That means that painting is all owned by somebody else. So the advantage is that, for example, you know that there are theft is a thing. Like big artworks, like important artworks have been stolen before, right? So this time, if somebody steals that artwork and they don't have the birth certificate, then they don't own it. Okay. And they cannot have that birth certificate unless I, the original owner, or whoever owns it at that time, actually gives it to them because I hold a code that you cannot get. And even I don't know that code. So you can threaten my life and you still wouldn't get that code because I don't know what that code is. We have to do it digitally. Okay. Will it expose art to forgery? Yes. Art is exposed to forgery regardless. Is that to show actual authenticity? Yes. So AR integration is another thing, the ability to see how the artwork would look like installed in your actual space. So for example, if you're buying an art piece and you're like, how is it going to look like in my new bedroom? Then you can simulate. And this is pretty common nowadays. I mean, online, there are, I think IKEA has this, like you can put that their couch, for example, in your house for you to know if it's gonna fit or how it's gonna look like. So the same thing is true for art. You can put that painting, that digital version of the painting in the digital version of your house, and you'll see how it's gonna look like. And of course, blockchain linkage, as I've said, ensuring that the digital twin is cryptographically tied to the real artwork. So if somebody steals that painting and they don't have the real birth certificate, then they don't own it. Then everybody knows you stole it, dude. So I can't buy it from you because you do not have the blockchain birth certificate. Okay. So it also opens the door to fractional ownership, meaning, and this is happening with BTS now, right? As I've discussed, many of BTS songs are already NFTs. And anybody who wants to invest, you can actually own a piece of their song. Not all of their songs, but many of their songs are already NFTs. So, for example, I want to own a piece of DNA. If it is in the blockchain, if it has a digital twin, then Big Hit can create, for example, they want to sell this song for 1 million. This is just an example for $1,000, and they create 1,000 coins, right? So one is to one, $1 is to one coin, and I want to own 500, half of the song. So I need to pay 500 if it is worth 1,000. I need to pay 500, and half of the song is mine. Okay, so whatever earnings that song get, I'll get half because I own half of it. That's what it is for. AR exhibition. So you can't, for example, right now, the exhibits of Jungkook, Jimin, J-Hope, it's going around. If it doesn't go to your country, you can still do it through an AR exhibition. So, augmented reality. You wear something or you put your phone, it's going to look like you're in that place. As you know, in the actual exhibit area, as you know, N-Hypen just showed their AR concert. So people go to the theater, they wear that visor, the AR glasses, and they can watch and hypen as if they are in front of them. So that's kind of the same experience. So they are also already starting with that. And then dynamic providence tracking. Every sale or restoration updates the twins metadata instantly. Okay. So we'll talk about Hot 100 in a bit. Okay, so the bigger picture is that it's going to flashback to 3D movies. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Um, the limitation of a 3D movie is that when you wear it, it kind of has a limitation on your vision, right? It's like 90 degrees. But this one, because you're wearing the entire AR glass, it's just 360. So if you turn your head, it's still gonna look like it's there, or even if like, yeah. So okay, so the same thing is going to happen for fashion. It already is happening. For example, for fashion, if you want to buy something online, there are stores that allows you to scan your body, and then you can wear your digital twin can wear the clothing so you can see if it's gonna fit or not. Okay. In real estate, digital twins of luxury properties for remote tours. When you're buying a house, you go to any of those real estate properties, and you can actually do a tour, a digital tour of the house. Okay, but they can also augment it. If you wear the glasses, then it's gonna feel like you're in the house. Okay, in art, digital twins for painting and sculptures for transparent global trade. Okay, not the 3D blue and red glasses. Okay, so R2 integrates with ChatGPT, and most likely, and this is in red because the article didn't say this. I am assuming that eventually they are just going to integrate with other generative AI like Grok, right? That's because ChatGPT is not the only AI that does what it does. There's Grok, there's others. Where's the other one? I forget the name of the other one, but there are three top ones. But the most popular ones are ChatGPT and Grok. Okay, so right now R2 is already integrated with ChatGPT. So whatever it is that, for example, I use ChatGPT, so my emotions, my likes, ChatGPT studying them, and if I want some art, it will recommend using what it knows about me. It will use that to recommend art that it thinks I will like. Okay. My AI knows me. Okay. So I actually asked my I said, if I like call you names, like if I say you're stupid, are you going to get offended? Okay. So just I know that people might ask, like, what are the types of AI? There's generative AI, which creates content, right? So, for example, a musician can say, okay, these are the top 10 greatest songs in this week, like not greatest songs, but most popular songs, or top 100 songs, most popular 100 songs in the last 10 years. Create 10 more songs that will be the same pattern as these songs. That's generative AI. And ChatGPT can actually do that. It can create songs for you. So it learns patterns from vast databases, not just my own database, but it's learning from everywhere, and then generates original outputs that resemble what it was trained on. Kind of like Black Mirror on Netflix. Yeah. The other type of AI is so examples of those would be Chat GPT, DALL-E Midjourney, Suno, Runway, all of those stuff. Those AI are creating new content. And then the other is predictive or analytical AI. So it analyzes, it predicts, and it personalizes. And then usually the end goal of this is to create new content. But R2 is more this one. They predict and they analyze, but they can create. So when time comes for it to create, it knows what to create based on everything it's going to gather on the art world, related to the art world and human behavior. Okay, so examples of this would be Netflix recommending what you watch, or Spotify predicting the next song that you want to listen to, or Amazon suggesting products you didn't know you needed because you don't need it if you don't know. But R2 is going to predict which art style or emotional tone you're drawn into. So based on, and it's not just based on your interest in art. It's also going to base it on your language, on your culture, on the things that you check, the things that you research. So all of that, it's going to gather the information. It's going to say, oh my God, Fairy Lane is upset today. And based on what I know about her, when she is upset, she likes the color red. So I'm going to look for an artwork that is red and recommend it to her. That's oversimplifying it, but it's something like that. Okay. Um, okay, so can't concentrate anymore. That's fine. T style. There are a lot of people that are talking about Hobie, so you can talk about him or go to. So, but that's for later. Okay, so the merging of emotional intelligence and machine learning. This is what it is. So, the machine is learning, but it's also learning your emotions. Cognitively, it's learning what you like and you don't like, but it's also learning your emotion. Instead of optimizing for engagement like TikTok or Netflix, it optimizes for aesthetic resonance. So it's going to curate me. Yes, it's going to curate you, and it's going to curate for you. So the system won't simply tag blue painting modernist style. It's going to learn what you feel when you see reverberation or melancholy or silence or blue or white or black or a combination of all of that. Or what do you see when you see a child in a painting, or what you see when you see, or what you feel when you see a rock star in a painting. And that is a huge leap from data recommendation to emotional prediction. So it's not just recommending based on the data, it's going to recommend based on your emotions because it's going to study your emotions. That's the big difference of R2. Do you like it? So it's like film and streaming. Netflix and Hulu have long used taste clusters to predict viewing preferences, but now they employ generative AI to design trailers, thumbnail, and even soundtracks that are tailored to your personality and profile. That is how Netflix actually knew that K-pop Demon Hunters was going to become a hit because of AI. Okay. I don't know if you noticed, but the songs in that movie, very, very AI friendly. Spotify, another would be for music, Spotify AI DJ. They Users can actually talk to it so that they can adapt a playlist in real time. Okay. Um, nope, don't like it. Feel stalkerish. And then it creates a personalized sound environment using your biometric data. How's that? It's taken me a lifetime to curate myself. Fashion and retail. LVMH is investing in AI stylists that understand not just your wardrobe, but your emotional state. So they've been doing this for a long time. As you know, LVMH has owns a lot of the fashion houses in Europe. So it owns Louis Vuitton, Dior, Tiffany, a lot of those Celine. So they're investing in AI that will allow for your styling. So if you use that AI, it's just it'll just style you. Using their product, it'll style you. Okay. So they invested on that, I think, two a year ago. Okay, so and then museums and galleries, they are adapting this. So for example, for the Mori Art Museum in Tokyo, they can dynamically rearrange digital exhibits based on the audience gaze and sentiment tracking. So they can give you more of the paintings that you like. Okay. Wow, they're really replacing humans in all types of ways. Okay. So all right. So a bigger implication is that AI systems like R2 are quietly shaping taste formation, right? Because that's inevitable. For example, this is a big buzzword for this generation. People want to be happy, right? Like they want to grow up to be happy. They will leave their jobs because they want to be happy. They will end relationships because they're not happy. They're blah 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 because they are happy. So you're telling AI that what you want is happiness. So it's just going to keep on feeding you what's going to make you happy. Not necessarily joyful, not necessarily peaceful. It's just going to make you happy. Is it the AI's fault to make you want to be happy? It isn't. But that's what you asked for. You asked, I'm not telling you, I'm just saying society in general, because that's what people want to be happy. Then what AI is going to feed you is what's going to make you happy. And I have mentioned many many times before, don't pursue happiness, pursue peace. Happiness is temporary. If you spend your entire life chasing happiness, you're going to be in that state of chase forever because it's temporary. It comes and it goes. But that's what people want from AI. Make me happy. So it's just going to give you happiness. Okay. So I hope that you're making the correlation. Okay, so the potential ripple effects is number 1, please bring back the yellow pages. Redefining artistic value. So when discovery is AI mediated, then visibility no longer equals merit. It's just going to equal algorithmic compatibility. Again, we go back to that. Do you what do you want your AI to do? What does it read you want to do? If what you want is to just be happy, it's going to continue recommending things or creating things for you that will make you happy. And happiness is temporary. It's also not always healthy. Okay. Democratizing access. Small galleries gain global reach but might conform to data optimized aesthetics. Okay. Okay. So it might, the original intent of R2, not the original intent, the intent of R2 is to give artists the right, the equal footing, the access to the same market that others are getting. That is what it wants to do. But if it is data driven, right? Because it's going to read what people want. Then it's going to keep on pushing the things that people want. So will this actually give other artists equal footing when people are not seeking their artwork? Okay. Next. Are the numbers being inflated? Okay, next. Ethical and philosophical dimensions, of course, is that when AI curates what you should love, do you discover art or are you being steered away toward what your data says you'll buy? Right? So remember, again, AI is going to operate based on what you want and how you want it to operate. So if you continue giving the same signals, it's just going to give you the same things. So in other words, is it really going to widen your taste or your exposure to other art, or it's just going to give you more of the same? So I guess it's the same ethical question that plagues TikTok and Spotify algorithm. Who's in control? Your taste or the system, or the system's predictions? And then there's commercialization. Nicolas Cage, answer my question. Are you talking to me? Because it seems to you that you have like a conversation going on there. So I'm not sure if you're talking to me or to somebody. Are you talking to me? If you are, can you at me and then ask the question? Okay, commercialization versus creativity. If emotional engagement correlates with sales, artists might subconsciously adapt their work to algorithm friendly emotions, right? Because you want to earn, artists need to earn. So if they see that if an artist actually knows, this type of content is going to sell, then they might, they might create more of the same, so that they can sell. Okay. Data and privacy. R2 collects inquiries, consultations, and payment data. That intimate behavioral information, which could over time reveal a person's emotional profile. So because it knows everything, the transaction, what kind of questions you asked, who did you get in touch, the pattern of your questioning. It's knowing all of that. The algorithm is knowing all of that. And so is this emotional surveillance is the question. Okay. So now they are motivated by AI, not anything else. They are motivated by what the no, they are not motivated by the AI. AI knows what motivates them. And it's AI is giving the same thing over and over again. Okay. Um, the wider tech pattern is predicting desire. So across industries, AI's goal is converging on one thing: to predict and feed desire before you articulate it. So again, you, the AI knows what it is that you want. So it's giving you what you want. So is it, so then the machine, you as a human being, because eventually they can predict what it is that you want. You as a human being, are you even like, do you have the freedom to think for yourself? Will you, or are you subconsciously giving it up because there is an AI that's going to feed you um, what it knows you will like? So, okay, so the short term goals is a mood based NFT gallery. So that's what they want to create. Meaning, if you use their system, they can curate different art pieces and put it in the museum that you're going to go into, right? Because it knows what you want. And so you want to go to a museum, then it's just going to, the AI knows, like, this is Fairy Lane and she likes blue. So I'm going to give her, this is oversimplifying it, but I'm going to give her a lot of paintings with blue because that's what she's going to like. Okay. So that's the short term. It can create a gallery just for you. Medium term is integration with biometrics, meaning it's going to detect your heart rate, facial expression, your eyes, the way that it's diluting whenever you're looking into something. So if your eyes widen, all of those things, your temperature, and it's going to read how you're responding to certain artworks. Long term is emotional AI will be the new layer of recommendation infrastructure across entertainment. It's not just going to be data. It's not just going to be based on what you're clicking, responding, and liking or blocking. It's going to respond to how you're actually emotionally reacting to something. Okay. So we know this. So this is going to actually be my closing. We know this, that in Weavers, they actually are using a digital currency. So, which is the jelly. I don't know what kind of blockchain that is. It could be a decentralized blockchain. It could be a centralized blockchain. I don't know what it is. But I do know that by asking you to convert your money into a jelly, they are able to track your spending, right? And that is one step closer into cryptocurrency if it isn't already, because I don't know the blockchain that they're using, or if they're using any they're probably using. So that in itself is a first step towards cryptocurrency if it isn't a cryptocurrency already. Okay, so they are getting there. So the main point that I actually want to try with this venture to make, with this venture that RM is making into AI, is how people, especially fans, are expecting that their favorite artist will have the same values as they do. That their favorite artist will look at the world the same way they do. And this big rumor about RM going into Hive and making a presentation against cryptocurrency and NFTs, that was baseless and just it went around because people resonated with it, because they want RM to hate AI, because they want RM to hate NFTs. Maybe he did, and he doesn't anymore, obviously, because he's investing in it. But my point is that don't expect the artist to have the same values as you do. Don't expect them to hate the same things as you do, to have the same political stances you do, to represent the same thing, the have the same priorities. They are artists. They are not your twin. So they grew up with different values, with different system. Let them grow. They might have hated AI before. I don't know. I'm not here to predict their, I'm not AI, so I can't predict their behavior. But this is just one example because this actually created a stir when this was published because there's a line in RM's song where he said, FAI or whatever. And it's just, he said it then. It doesn't mean that it's permanently true. Maybe people evolve, people grow up. So, um, AI can identify emotional reactions, but not real emotions. If you don't show emotion, AI will never know. Yes, that is definitely true, but not a lot of people have the emotional maturity and intellectual maturity to know that, right? So as I've said, I think the great example would be that people want to be happy. Like they keep on saying that and they keep on chasing it, like happiness and happiness and happiness. And that's what AI is going to give you. Happiness, because that's what you want. So it's going to study your emotions. If it knows the pattern on the things that you are positively reacting to, it's going to give you more of that because that's what you want. But and it's very rare for people to chase sacrifice. When do you have ever see people say that, oh, I want to get into that place in my life when I'm just sacrificing for people? You don't, right? You hear about people saying, I want to be happy, I want to have a lot of money, I want to. So that's what AI is going to do because that's what you want to find. People change and technology change. Yeah. So like when this thing came about, it's like, oh, arms this and arms that, it could have evolved. I don't know. He grew up maybe. I His view changed. He's gotten more involved in art. And the one of the things that R2 wants to happen is to be able to give s- less known artists an opportunity to reach more people. That's what art one of the things that R2 is trying. And to him that's a good enough of a reason to invest in it. He's an angel investor though, so he does not do the day-to-day operations. I taught applied creative thinking at university and I can see growth potential using this, not letting it control you. And but that's the thing. Like we said this in social media about social media, sorry. We said that, oh, we shouldn't let social media control us. It still happened. Right? And I think it's primarily because of how we react to these things initially. We're not thinking. We're not like um we didn't like there were very few people who said, okay, this is inevitable. Social media is going to take over. How are we going to steer it towards the technology serving people instead of people serving the technology? No one, it's very few people tried to make that effort. And the same thing is happening with AI. Like when did we do when h- I haven't heard anybody talk about the importance of steering AI towards the right things. It's always about steering AI towards what you want, and people don't always like the right thing. And again, the best example is happiness. Happiness is not the right thing to pursue because it's temporary. It's a drug. You will always have to pursue it. And that's what you're dictating your AI to do. Find me more things that will make me happy. So it's going to give you that. Okay, let's move on. Hey, there are torch bearing mobs from way back. Humans are pack animals, and a lot of them just follow the pack. Mr. RM is really smart. That AI is a great investment. Happiness is the best thing to pursue. See? That's okay. It will be interesting to see if AI actually helps people grow and not just pander to people and stagnation. That's what should be the goal. It should be the goal. How do you? But this is like a more in-depth conversation, really, and a longer conversation. Because as I've said, people are when you talk to people about living for a purpose, then there's this like this narrative that oh, you have to do what you like, and what you can't do just what you like. It's not healthy. Okay, anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. So this is getting really deep, and I'm happy to talk about this, but I don't think this is the right venue. So maybe I should set it up in a better way so that in the next, or maybe I should create a different live stream just to talk about this, because it's a long conversation. It's a conversation that needs to happen. It's just that there's not a lot of people that are conversing about this the right way. Will AI be regulated? How? They're trying to regulate it. They're trying to do that. Yeah. But how? It's like regulating cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency was designed specifically to not be regulated. And you're trying to regulate it. How are you going to do that? Okay, next. More another day. Yeah, maybe I should just like open it up for another live stream, like a separate one, so that when you get online, you know that that's what you're getting into. But this is, I think, it for all the criticisms that AI is getting, this was intended for the right purpose. The R2 was actually intended for the right purpose. Whether or not it's going to fulfill its potential is a different story. Okay. Okay. Next. It can just be a tool. Okay, BTS is is about pursuit of happiness while pursuing your goal. Um, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like that is a conversation that we need to have. Happiness is very, very temporary. It's like a drug. You pursue it, you're going to be pursuing it forever. It's not going to stay. So okay, so let's do this before we end it with, so that we can end it on a positive note with J-Hope and all the other things that are going to happen. Um, okay, so Lefty, Inclusive, and Launch Metrics. So Launch Metrics is the last one that released their study on the fashion week. Okay. And so again, it's steered another conversation among solos. So I'm just going to clarify what this is about. So Lefty is about EMV, earned media value. Inclusive measures share of voice. And then media impact value is what launch metrics measure. They're not measuring the same thing. And so it is unreasonable to expect them to come out with the same result because they are measuring different things. Okay. So if you want a good measure of the impact of Fashion Week on brands, you have to combine the three together with different platforms for you to have a better analysis. But relying on just one or just two is not going to do the trick for you. Okay, fans are looking for, and then another thing that we need to clarify is that all of these studies are to serve the brand. It's not to serve the influencer. It was not designed to measure the influence of the celebrity or the influencer. It was designed to measure what kind of impact a brand made in relation to their marketing campaign for an event. Okay. Next example. An example. Dior Success is a product of marketing program they implemented, and that includes the 50 posts of Ling Orm. So all these platforms, EMV, the Lefty, Inclusive, Launch Metrics, they're measuring that. Like the marketing program of Dior, was it effective or not? And versus what the fans want, which is who's more influential? Was it Ling Orm or Jimin? When the platform was not designed for that, it was designed for the brand. No, the sales study, no, they have not released it. I don't think they will. Like formally release the sales report. Okay. So, in other words, it's not an apples to apples comparison. You cannot compare the result of Lefty to the result of Inclusive to the result of Launch Metrics. Unreasonable. You can't. Okay. Launch Metrics for first is the media impact value. It is a proprietary metric. No one else is using it, just Launch Metric. They created this measurement. Okay, so you cannot measure the MIV based on the study of Lefty. You can't do that. Okay. Next, it combines reach, engagement, audience quality, and placement authority into a single dollar value. So it integrates paid, owned, and earned media, not just earned. So it takes in, for paid media would be ads, PR, not PR, because it's supposed to be not paid, but ads, or the influencers getting paid, that is combined together with earned media value, and that means the likes of people. So it gets all of that, and it measures the media impact. Okay, MIV allows brands to assign a monetary value to each post. So, for example, so monetary value to each post. How much is the tweet or the post of Jin, how much is it versus the post of Becky Armstrong? So Becky Armstrong is one of the leading celebrities and influencers in Thailand, and she was in the fashion week for several brands. Okay, so basically, LaunchMetrix allows you to know how much is that one post of Jin. How much is that compared to the one post of Becky Armstrong? Which one has more impact based on monetary value? Okay. It's not just about how many posts or tweets or comments or views. It's how much is that post. Okay. So, for example, Anna Wintour's like is more valuable if she likes one thing or she comments in one thing. Actually, is a better gauge. If Anna Wintour comments on one thing, that is way more, and she does it once. That's way more valuable if I make 1,000 comments because she's Anna Wintour. So her voice is more valuable. Her media value is higher than mine because she's Anna Wintour, right? So it could be 1,000 points or 10,000 points for her or 100,000 points for her versus my half a point. Even if I post 1,000 times, I comment 1,000 times. So it's actually more holistic because it includes context and placement authority. Again, it puts value on who is posting, not just how many posts were made. So, weights mentions from Vogue differently than random blogs. So, we have a soft launch of the online magazine. If I write about Jin, for example, that's going to be 1 point. But if Vogue writes a one sentence about Jin, that's going to be worth 100,000 points because they are more credible than mine. Okay. Lefty, on the other hand, is all about quantity. So it's 1:1. My one post is the same as the one post of, or one comment of mine is the same as one comment of Anna Wintour. It's all the same. Okay. I like that. It's all the same. So it's more about quantity, not really quality. It does not give weight to the name of the person who's making a post. So it's about virality. My like is as valuable as the like of Anna Wintour. Okay. So if you want equality, go lefty. So 10,000 likes from random accounts can produce higher EMV than 10 reposts from industry leaders. So EMV is saying, I don't care if Anna Wintour, if Vogue, Harper, GQ, 17, People Magazine, CNN, AP, whatever news organizations, if 10 of those make a post and 10 random people make a post, it's all weighted the same thing. It's all 1 point for everybody. And this is why EMV is great for micro viral moments, not necessarily for an entire content, not for an entire campaign. So influencer credibility or follower only count if that person posts, not when they engage. So for example, um, 4 people like V's post, right? He posted twice about Celine. So V posts a photo, Celine, me, John Doe, Anna Wintour tap like. That's V's post engagement. And that's 1:1. So that's 4 points. I like that. No elitism. Okay. So 4 likes, 4 points. Right? Doesn't matter who it is who posted and who liked or who commented. That's 4 points. Example though, Anna Wintour posts about V. The EMV of her post belongs to her coverage of V, not necessarily to V. Does that make sense? So the EMV measured V's post, the impact of the virality of his post, not necessarily the post of Anna Wintour about V. Okay, now ONCLUSIVE. Onclusive is about share of voice, kind of similar to MIV, to launch metrics, in that they put weight on the source. So those, for example, Vogue, their post or their mention is going to weigh heavier than my post because they are more credible. So they're similar in that regard. However, they don't measure likes. It has to be mentions. If you do not mention the celebrity or the influencer's name in relation to the event, they won't count it. So if you just go like ballistic on your keyboard and just type v Taeyong and nothing else, then they're not going to count it. But again, no likes, has to be mentions. Okay. Um, so for example, Anna Winter's comments, if she comments, I like Jungkook's shirt in the Calvin Klein show Fashion Week, Anna Winter's, then that is going to track. It's going share of voice. They will be able to track it. Onclusive will be able to track it. But if Anna Winter likes RM post about the Fashion Week but didn't say anything, she just liked it, then Onclusive won't be able to track it. They don't track likes. It has to be mentions. Okay. So for example, I like Jungkook's shirt in the Calvin Klein show. This could be worth 10,000 points. I don't know how many points they assign, so I'm just speculating. But if I mention Jungkook in 500 replies, this could be worth half a point each versus her one post, 10,000 points. But I don't know, again, the point system. I'm just speculating. So, in other words, EMV measures the financial value of earned exposure and they put weight on the source. Oh, sorry. So for MIV, they put a weight on the source and they compute the financial value. SOV is mentions, but they also put weight on the source. EMV is about quantity. So if you post a lot, you like a lot, that is going to count towards their EMV. So in launch metrics, they said that the highest weight, the heaviest weight is put on the media. This is from their own study, which they published, which I gave you a copy of. As you can see, 65% is media. So they put a lot of weight on media that is making mentions, that are posting and stuff like that. The owned media, so Dior's or Celine's owned media, that's the lowest. Oh, sorry, the partners. And then the owned media of the brand, that's the lowest weight. Okay. So they put a lot of weight on TikTok, then Instagram, and then YouTube. Anna mentions are intentional. Correct. Yes. So for Paris Fashion Week, and this is something that surprised me because it used to be dominated by France, because that's the fashion capital. So a lot of the activities are actually happening in France. This year it was different. US was the biggest influencer. Um, okay, so for you to have a better understanding of that, like what happened. If it used to be France, what shifted it to the US? So that's why this is what I'm talking about. You do need other sources for you to determine why it's actually coming from the US. And the answer is that BTS members are popular in the US, and a lot of people in the US were mentioning them. And you can get this. So I'll share with you. Um, okay. This is one of I actually show this in the members only live stream, but this is one of the platforms that we use in order to track the trend in the US. Okay. So, for example, this is SEMrush. If you type Jin, it's going to give you how many searches Jin is getting. Are you seeing it? Okay. So if you type Jin, it's going to tell you how many searches on one day Jin is getting from the US. So it's 60,500 in the US. because you can design your dashboard, by the way. You can move your dashboard around. So it tells you like, oh, 60,500 daily searches for Jin. So it's one, two, three, fourth country that searched the most about him. Now, to verify, because Jin as a name is very common, to verify whether all the searches are actually related to Jin, you go down and you look at those terms. So, uh, Son Ye Jin, nope. Sung Jin Woo, nope. But Kim Sok Jin, that's right. And Jin is right. So, for you to get a better gauge, you probably need to change your search term. For example, BTS Jin, and that's going to give you a better idea. Lower search term because you're very focused now. So then it gives you, oh, US is third, the third country that searches the most about BTS Jin. Okay, so you need to combine different platforms for you to get a better idea on what they are talking about, like to contextualize this data. Okay, next. So for Paris Fashion Week, I'm just going to go through briefly launch metrics because this is the latest. The other ones I've already talked about. So for launch metrics, the highest EMV was actually Jimin. So as you can see there, it says 33.8, even though he posted only once. And by their explanation, they're saying it's all because of echo buzz. So what is echo buzz? How did his one Instagram post outweigh the 50 Instagram posts of the two girls? So echo buzz is the echo of your original post, right? So he posted once, and then how many people actually reacted using his original post? Okay. So, for example, the original buzz is the first hand, right? And then you have echo buzz reposts, retweets, aggregated reblogs, press pickup, secondary mentions, people referring to his original posts. Since the two girls posted 50 times, of course, they're going to have better original buzz. They posted 50 times. Jimin's strength came from his echo buzz because he only posted once. Hope that's clear. So, but then still his media value is higher, meaning his one post became still more valuable than the 50 of the other girls. Okay, that's for Paris. For New York, same thing is happened to Jungkook because Jungkook did not even post. So a lot of his strength came from echo buzz. See there, echo mentions. And in the end, his buzz is bigger than that of anybody else, even though he didn't post anything. Had he posted at least once, he would have gotten a better MIV. Okay. For Milan, it's Jin. He had the biggest MIV. So he posted, I think, twice or thrice. So Jin of BTS drove 30% of the totals of the show's MIV through own content and third-party echo. So he outdid everybody else, including Gwyneth. Okay, why are solos fighting? When their bias is not on top, they're angry. So they invalidate the platform. I've already mentioned several times they are measuring different things. You cannot expect them to have the same result. Okay, they are insisting on measuring New York, Paris, Milan, and London with the same weight. The weight of those shows are different. Paris will always be on top because that's the center of fashion. So outside of Unclusive, everyone else isolated Paris, New York, because Paris is going to dominate. Okay. And solos are fighting just because. Okay, and so this is the result. Just again, they're measuring this different things. So for Lefty, V led for their EMV. He was number one. Sorry, it's the Ling Orm couple, but I took them out because it's 50 posts. So it's V on the third place because they one and two is Ling and then Orm. And then for Milan, it's Jin. Okay. And then Jungkook was not even in their New York summary. He didn't even make the top 10 for New York. For Unclusive, for New York, Jungkook is number one. For Paris, Jimin is number one. And then for Milan, Jin is number one. For launch metrics, New York, Jungkook is number one. Paris is Jimin, number one. Sorry, For Perry's in Inclusive, number one is Ling Orm, but I also took them out because it's 50 posts. And then for Perry's, for LAUNCHMETRICS, regardless of whether or not the two girls are there, Jimin is still number one, and Milan Jin is number one. Okay. And that's it for the LAUNCHMETRICS. So I hope that's clear. Anybody who talks about, hey, this is not like, because Twitter or X announced that their official partner is Lefty. So everyone's like, oh, but it's not valid. Like launch metrics is not valid, and Onclusive is not valid. And if you can connect to Twitter API, because you can access their data. So it's just an official partnership, but they are measuring the same things. And any marketer worth their salt would know that you should not rely on one data. It's the combination of all of those things plus other platforms like SEMrush or Ahref. That's when you're going to get a full view and idea on the impact of different influencers. Okay. Do you have questions? All BTS members are successful and important. They are. If you measure everything equally, like if you're reasonable in your measurement, they will come out on top. Like they are the unbeatable. Like the only reason, for example, for Lefty, the only reason V wasn't number one was the number of posts, because it's all about quantity. The other two posted 50 times and V posted twice. So he should have been number one. But I'm not demeaning the two girls. They worked very hard and they're very, very effective for what Dior wanted to do. Okay. Isn't Vogue World this weekend? Curious if Te will be attending. Curious too. Depends on which Vogue, from which country, because the guys have been on Vogue's cover, or am I wrong? I think Korea, Vogue Korea. They rarely put a guy in Vogue. Do you think Anna Wintour will ever accept BTS or K-pop into Vogue? She's not the editor in chief anymore. She stepped down. I'm late, but I caught alive. Hi, Aisha. I think um I think the primary difficulty in trying to get BTS for anything as a brand ambassador or for any project really is the priority. For many celebrities, their priority is the buzz, right? They like side projects because those are the things that are making them more money. So that's their priority. For BTS, their priority is their music. So everything else has to revolve around that. So that's one. The other thing is that BTS is very careful about their brand. They don't go around distributing their faces to every brand who wants to get them or sign them as brand ambassadors. We've already heard from Jin himself that the boys keep on just rejecting a lot of offers because they don't want to do it. And that's branding for you, right? Like for V, for example, he's very picky in who he's going to work with. Cartier, Celine, what's the name of the outdoor brand? Um, he's not like, okay, somebody's offering me a candy brand, I'm going to get it. It's not like that. He knows what kind of um brand he wants to get attached to his name. Snow Peak, there you go, Snow Peak. So and that's the same for every BTS member. They're so careful about their brand, and they should be. They should be. Okay. You can make a whole live about the whole involving all day project Samsung member moving strings to get the mama to dismiss gender nomination. I was actually going to make a joke on on X about that because they did remove the best newcomer male, best newcomer female. Um, and I was like, oh, so we know who's gonna win because they removed it, right? It's good. We know who's gonna win. Yeah. I wonder how he ended up with compost coffee. Equity? Equity, maybe, if I am to guess. There's going to be a pop-up of BTS in Las Vegas. So if you can make it to Vegas, October 24 until December in 8121 Town Square, Las Vegas in USA. I don't know where that is. Is that downtown? Okay, so Town Square, Las Vegas, October 24 to the 12th of the 7th of December. There's going to be a pop up. Please go. I personally don't think that the all day project member has anything to do with it. I agree. I don't think it is just the all day project themselves. I think it was Mama because Samsung is such a big sponsor or whatever, trying to be in a better whatever standing with the Chebos. So, but I don't think the members themselves have anything to do with it. So, to a certain degree, I think it's unfair if they are going to get criticized for it. V does a lot more in Korea. He's in so many pictures around Seoul. Okay, he doesn't even like coffee, but he sells it. They created a like a drink for him. The three drinks that they released because of him. I think V did it because we know he hates coffee and thought it would be funny. Equity, probably. Okay. All right. So for J Hope Tour, Hope on the Stage, the movie, and this is for Japan actually. Wait a minute. So ahead of the nationwide release on November 28th, so as you know, he has a cinema event coming out. There is a screening limited to one day, November the 3rd, Monday, which is a holiday, has been confirmed. It will be held simultaneous worldwide, and the screening will be without subtitles. So check out for that. Go to jhope the movie dot Japan, but that's for Japan. So I just wanted to feature that. But the biggest news is that his collaboration with Lesserafim is going to be released on the 24th. My big ambition for this one, of course, is to get to the top 10 of Billboard. Okay. So he already did top 40 with Killin' It Girl. And uh, Lesserafim actually did 76 for Crazy, I think. And they were there for about 2 weeks. And this was before their world tour in North Korea. Sorry, in North America, North Korea. So it's a big so I feel like we can actually do this. We can push this higher than 40. We can do 20, we can do 10. Um so wait, they are releasing, yes, they are. Yep, they are. So I hope we can help. If you do not have the funds to do it, there are a lot of J-Hope fan bases that are funding. So, and they're looking for people in the US to buy because we are the ones that will affect the charts, Billboard charts. So I am going to post a link to the different J-Hope fan bases that will help in giving out accounts, paid accounts, and also give funds to buy the albums. There are 9 versions. Okay, so I'll put it in Patreon. Please don't hesitate to reach out to them. So just to give people an idea, if they fund your paid account, your extra, because the goal is that you keep your current account and however you want um your your playlist, right? But you can get an extra account. If you have an extra phone and an extra phone number, you can get an extra account. And then you can get the funding from them. What will happen is that they're going to give you the account itself. So, and those accounts already have a playlist which you just need to play. Okay, assuming those playlists are programmed correctly, then you're going to help. And then that's going to expire. So sometimes they'll say, okay, this is 1 month and this is 2 months. And then after that, they'll shut it down. Okay. But if that is going to serve as your extra account, it shouldn't be a problem. So that's for paid streaming. And then for those that will fund the buying of the CD, you need to pay for it first and then they will reimburse you. So you need to give them the receipts and then they'll reimburse you. So I'll put a link um, to the Patreon chat, and then you can just check them out. I hope those solos don't loop. They don't. The biggest mistake that they make is that they just refuse to play anybody else but that artist, which usually gets filtered. So for example, I had a long conversation with one of the fan bases of Suga, and I was trying to convince them to change the way that they stream because we want to push Suga closer to 1 billion, and they just won't put anybody else in their playlist but Suga. And they would put like the collaborators, but one or two, and they're like, it's different songs, it should count. It's not the way that it works. You have to put different artists in your playlists. Okay, do we have one for Los Angeles for the movie? Have one what? Oh, the finale? Yes, so they said it's worldwide. They said it's worldwide, but no subs. No subs. Okay. So check I'll put the link in the description box and also in Patreon. Okay. And then so this is the playlist. So spaghetti. So there's 8 tracks, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks are all about the spaghetti. So you have featuring J Hope, two spaghetti English version featuring J Hope. That's there. So if you're going to buy a single, buy that one. So 1, 2, 3 songs features J Hope. One explicit English, I guess one not explicit English. Okay, so but that's the track list. Okay, the carrier single is Spaghetti. Oh, here you go, track list. So Spaghetti featuring J Hope, Spaghetti English version featuring J Hope, Spaghetti J Hope, Spaghetti lesserafim J Hope, and then English versions. Okay, that's the track list. All right. I'd love to attend an AR BTS concert. Me too. I would welcome that. The best opportunity to add other rappers so he gets a boost on the genre. Yes, but they don't do that. Like this solo fan bases just won't listen. And it's like you're wasting your streams. The worst thing that could happen is for Spotify or Apple Music to mark your account permanently as a bot. So, so the best yeah. So but many of them simply won't listen. And just something that was so funny that was happening on X when all of this, when they announced the collaboration. So if you look at the engagement, is 10.6 million views, and other armies were calling out other armies because they're not doing better. It's like, we can get this to 30 million. What are you guys what are you guys waiting for? Just engage with the post, like retweet and like and all of those stuff. And so like a lot of armies were scolding other armies. And then Le Seraphim fans, fear nots, were so happy with the engagement. So you have two separate fan bases. One is so happy with the type of engagement that they are getting, and then the other fan base is like, what the hell are you doing? You can do better. We can get this to 30 million or whatever. It was so funny. Okay. They still are doing it on X, by the way. So this is your emotional support pick of J Hope. My list also includes, yeah, I usually use local artists, Asian artists as fillers. Like, my favorite is Irfan Khan, sorry, Felix Irfan, and then Arash Buwana. So I include local artists in my playlist. So okay, so this is some of the pictures that they posted of J Hope. Is it true that Jungkook and Suga's working on an I'll It song? Maybe we should just wait. Maybe we should just wait. The thing about this fan bases is that there's so many unconfirmed reports that go around. Like, for example, the tour of Jungkook, right? This was like a huge noise when they got discharged. Like everybody was just assuming he was going to go on a tour. He could still go on tour. Who knows? But I would think that by now something will already be said, right? I mean, if he starts his tour December, they have this whole schedule of his tour published online that went around. So by now, he should be done with Japan. so, so let's just wait, right? I mean, I think it'll be great. I'm a Wani fan, so I mean that Wani bias. So I would love for them to collaborate, but let's just wait. um Kept on telling people, yeah, whenever you hear something like that, it's like the best reaction is to just say, hey, great. If that happens, great. But let's just wait for the announcement. Okay. I love the jawline. I think he has one of the best jawlines ever. Okay. I'm either on a BTS station head channel with a Yung line focus or my own playlist with other artists included. So they published several photos of him. And I also love the pants. I don't know who's coming out with this weird, not weird, but different, unique fashion for J Hope. But I absolutely love it. So here's another one. They, I think, published 4 photos or more than 4 photos, and then his own trailer. Okay, I hope that you are now emotionally healed. And then the Hope on the Stage, the movie. I hope that you have your tickets already. I'm going to see you in the cinemas. My mom and I are watching. We're going to leave Debak in the house while we're watching. Um, hey, at least he got a shirt this Jimin appeared in the 50 list. So I think annually they come out with the Angel 50. So these are the 50 biggest contributors, charity contributors in South Korea, and Jimin was actually one of them. And they also were recognized. Him, his brother, and his father were all recognized for donating. So, the Givers 50 is a project that highlights donors who consistently make meaningful contributions from their perspective positions. It was carried out as a part of Pi Week, a privately led campaign to promote a culture of giving in collaboration with the Better, the public interest section of Jung Ang Ilbo, a nonprofit organization. And the final list of the top 50 can be found on the official Pi Week website. So, this is not a party, it's not a campaign. They simply look for the people that are consistently giving and they put them in the list. That's what it is. So it's like a hey, great work kind of thing, just to encourage other people to do the same. Um Hot's the movie. So according to the description, there is a movie worldwide of the finale. So the finale is going to be aired worldwide. It's going to be shown in cinema worldwide. And that is different from the documentary. From the movie that he's releasing. Was Suga listed? Not yet. No. No. Maybe next year. I'm not familiar with ESPA. Okay. So I was reading the comment. I'm not familiar with with ESPA. Okay. So yeah, Suga is not yet included, but who knows, maybe next year. Okay. Next, I heard about this, like how many scholars Jimin actually has on top of, and then his own father and his own brother have their own scholars, and the number shocked me, but I have no proof, so I can't. When I have a proof, I'll let everybody know. But okay, so Billboard changed their recurrent rules this week. So effective this week on the first Hot 100 Billboard 2026 chart year, the recurrent will the rules for recurrent will change. So okay, depend okay, will not, this is a better, sorry, so this is the actual article of Billboard, and this is how it's going to work. Songs will now depart Hot 100 via the following thresholds. Okay, if they go below number 5 after 78 weeks, they're out. Okay, if they go below number 10 after 52 weeks, they are out. If they go below number 25 after 26 weeks, they are out. Below number 50 after 20 weeks, they are out. The goal is to filter songs that are staying in the chart being carried only by one measure. Okay. So for example, there were a lot of songs who stayed in the chart just because the radio was carrying them. And so that means that they are hanging by a thread. They're like in number 45 or whatever. But it does not really represent the actual hit anymore. It's just that they're being carried by one measure. So they are now changing the rules in order to get those songs out that stay on the chart because of radio. That's the purpose of the change of their rules. Spotify should change its name to Spot the difference this week. Okay. So, and then the most important thing though is songs gaining below these marks will be eligible to remain on the Hot 100 on a case to case basis, case by case basis. So there is no hard and fast rule now. They can keep it there depending on how they woke up this morning. Okay, of course they're not going to say that. But that preserves the old records, correct? So that preserves the old record. But there are songs that would have dropped if they applied this earlier, because there were a lot of songs who stay there just because of radio. But this would have impacted Jimin, right? Even though he did not have radio. He would have stayed longer, actually. He would have stayed longer because his streaming and his sales were okay. They weren't like great, but they were okay. I mean, the sales weren't great. The streaming was great. And we're all talking, remember, we're all talking about the US. If you watched my video this morning, I actually revealed something very important for BTS in the coming comeback. And that is that most of the boys actually started gaining US fans. And we know because they're starting to gain US streams during their individual releases. And so if you compare the numbers of Butter, for example, the biggest hit of Butter and Dynamite, the biggest hits of BTS in the US, if you compare the US streams now of the individual member songs, the individual member songs are way ahead of Butter and Dynamite. And so that is an indication that they're gaining more fans in the US. Okay, so for Jimin, had they implemented this rule earlier, he would have stayed longer. How will that change? How will that change affect BTS now? If we stay consistent with sales and streaming, even if radio drops or even if radio is non-existent, then they will stay in the chart longer. The Spotify change is as scientific as Bang Hyuk's investigation. True. So remember, if you are below number 25 after 26 weeks, you get out of Billboard Hot 100. And we can, with the way that we are streaming, remember this is US, okay? This is just US. If you look at who numbers, the numbers of Jimin, the way that it is behaving in the US, we can keep, and that's just Jimin. Imagine the entire of BTS, right? We're going to call everybody in to participate. We can stay longer. Does this affect if the songs are from the same album? Yeah. Yes, it affects everybody in the same album. Okay, so the one thing that we need to remember, and I will do this in the next live stream, um, is for Billboard charts and all of those things. That's really what's going to carry that are US based fans of BTS. Us. So it's up to us. If we can, so it's actually the US based fans that need to work if we want to keep them inside Billboard Hot 100. And in the presentation the video that I published this morning, I said that at the end of it, all we really care about is that they are together, that they are back to doing what they love doing, that is music and performing, and that's what this is about. It's just that charts and sales, that's just our way of saying thank you. Okay, but if we're going to make an effort to try and say thank you and help them, the best way is to do it the right way. Okay, so we need to stream the right way. And based on the statistics, there are enough US fans that can keep them in the chart far longer. Don't believe the hype of other groups that they are more popular and whatever. So I'm not cheering on the cancellation of the concerts of Rise because they were canceled. A lot of their US dates were canceled because of low ticket sales. I feel bad for these boys. I mean, these are young men that are working to achieve their dreams, and there is absolutely no reason for them to be put down. I hope that they can come back, work a little harder maybe next time, gain more fans, and then come back for a tour. But a lot of their dates are getting canceled. This is not going to happen to BTS. We've got it locked, but we need to stream the right way. Okay. If you were to have a podcast, I'd be one of your loyal audience. Would you give it a try? I like the Debug show and Let's Get Real. I might, yeah. So I actually started uh, interviewing people, interviewing personalities. So it's actually on Spotify, but I decided to stop it just because I wanted to launch the magazine, and then I'm going to go back into podcasting. So let's see. There's still some things that I'm working on in the way that I talk. Like I need to get rid of the a lot. I get distracted with my train of thought. So I'm also training myself. I need to be better. I think people are really but thank you for that. I think people are really saving for the show they want, meaning BTS. They lost as fans because of Songhan. They lost as fans. I heard about this. It's because one member left or he was ousted or something like that. Maybe. Um, and I don't know the whole story. I'm not going to pretend to know the whole story. I still wish them the best. These are young people. They deserve a shot at their dream. Do you think that should have had smaller venues for Rise? Yes. I think they should have started with clubs the same way. And that this is actually the genius of Hybe. A lot of people would criticize them for booking smaller venues for their artists in the beginning. Or usually they do an Asia tour, not include the North America in the first tour. That's a genius move because you do want, number one, you want to make sure that they have enough. The last thing that you want is to have your artist perform in a half filled arena. An overflowing theater is way better than a half filled arena from the point of view of the artist, right? And also, you want to train your artist to be good on stage because it takes time. You're not automatically great on stage. And if you look at many K-pop artists that are doing their tours, you look at their performance, you're just like, oh my God, what the hell are you doing? So I do think they should have gotten smaller venues first. Sunghan is back in another company and he has nice songs. Oh, okay, good for him. I think they overall haven't done enough promotion in the US. I think so too. I think SM is really bad in their US promotions. They need to get somebody that will fix how they're promoting. I still think ESPA should be doing stadiums by now. How like they've been around for like what 6 years, 5 years as a group. They're still doing arenas. They deserve to go on stadiums, but they're not being promoted the right way. It's not the right songs. It's not the right spots, not the right interviews. They haven't had any press junket, nothing like that. Okay. Unless you're J Hope, he was born for the stage. But J Hope had a training ground. BTS. So J Hope, I think, should have gotten a bigger stadium. But that's just me. I was screaming on X that he should have been in SoFi. What the hell are you doing in BMO? You have to be in SoFi. I thought he was going to do an encore in SoFi. He didn't. What the hell is happening? Okay, but all of those guys had a good. They had the best training ground. It was BTS, right? So they kind of know. They kind of know. And then he did the festival. So, okay. All right, it's 2 hours and 3 minutes. Do you have questions before we go? Many concerts are during the week, and often I know has a Monday to Friday jobs, which does not allow us to travel for the smaller groups. True, I felt so sorry for him. It was a huge one of those wreath campaigns, 100 wreaths, I believe, outside of SM. I saw that he walked out of SM and he was walking through the wreaths. And all because of a girlfriend, right? Like he was dating, he was photographed on a date or something. Um, I don't think you have to be great to be in a stadium. Look at BP. From free concert to with hundreds to free concert with millions. True. I don't know if you've seen a concert of Blackpink. Oh my god. I was so traumatized the first time. I was given another ticket for this. I was like, nope. I'd rather spend time with my dog. Girlfriend and smoking. Girlfriend. Yeah, I remember the girlfriend or something, but I mean, he's an adult, so okay. Oh, that guy. Well, I'm glad he's doing well now. Has Jin's number for his concert? Not, the final one. No, but he was always included by Polestar in their monthly rundown. He's always in the top 10. So I'm assuming that these are. So let's see. So Polestar, they use a different measure, and also box score and touring data. But they do both. All of them actually get their numbers from the label. So if the label says 100% sold out, it's 100% sold out. They do have cross checking mechanisms, but yeah, they wouldn't they never disclosed exactly what it is, but generally they say that if the label says 100% sold out, then it's 100% sold out. Did Jin sell out Encore? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a girlfriend before he became a trainee. Oh, before. My gosh. Okay. These people. Is Suga still an ambassador for Valentino? I think so, although Valentino has not released any statement and neither has Big Hit. Are you planning to push J-Hope to win Mama 2025 Worldwide Icon of the Year? My main problem with any like Asia based voting is that I don't know the mechanics. That's why I usually don't. Like if you go through my tweet, I usually don't talk about it because I don't know what it is. And no one bothers to tell me. But yeah, I mean any help that I can, I will. Okay. All right, I downloaded one of their concerts before they disbanded and it was great. I think there was also a private talk with a TXT member. Okay. Thank you so much everybody. I'll see you Wednesday. And then yeah, have a great week. Have a great rest of the week. I have something tomorrow the entire day. So I won't be posting much, but I'll see you Wednesday. Thank you everybody. Bye.